All right, so we're in here from Marriage Boot Camp. I think this is no, I think this is season 16, I believe. And this is the hip hop edition yet again. So, the people that's on this show this season are Jocelyn and her dude Ballistic, Styles P and his wife Aja, Bianca from Love and Hip Hop and her boyfriend Choses, I think that's how you pronounce it. Michelle and her boyfriend Stu, and the Dungeon family legend himself, CeeLo Green, and his wife Shawnee. Okay, so this is a pretty solid cast. We know just about everybody, if not everybody, on this cast. So I'm already intrigued by this shit already. If you already know, because I'm a reality TV guru and I know what works for reality TV. And I can tell you right now, this cast right here gonna work for reality TV, especially for a show like this. They all got a story to tell. We already know them, and there may be some things about them that we don't fucking know. But I'm here for the tea. So we meet Jocelyn and Ballistic, and the reason why they're here at Marriage Boot Camp is because of marriage. Jocelyn wants to get married. Ballistic is not ready to get married yet. Jocelyn has a time limit. Ballistic doesn't want a time limit at the end of the day. So they're having a bit of an issue. They're playing seesaw with this situation. So at the end of the day, you know what I mean, that's going to cause a problem. Styles P and Agia. The reason being that they're here at Marriage Boot Camp is because Aja feels like their marriage is boring. There's no romance. There's no excitement. It's all boring. And she's not fulfilled in this marriage. And they've been together for 24 years. So how do you keep the spice going after 24 years? Good reason as to why they're here. Michelle and I just gonna go to her. Michelle and Stu. Their problem for being here is physical attraction and romance. I think that Stu is quite a bit much younger than Michelle. So Michelle doesn't feel that she's enough for him. She feels like she's dragging him along. She doesn't feel like she's worthy of him because she feels like all he cares about is the physical. And she doesn't feel like she's the physical. She's no longer in her prime. So she feels like he's gonna go for the younger girl. You know, I understand that. When you're an older woman dating a younger man, you're gonna feel that way. I dated an older guy before. I was 27 or 28. 28. He was like 41. And he had this thing, he was very protective of me because I was younger than him. And he knew what he had. He really didn't have to be that protective of me because I found him seriously attractive. Real talk. He could not believe that I found him attractive. But I think it was that older man, that protection, that sort of thing that made me, you know, get into him the way that I did. I found that very attractive. So sometimes that can be a give and take. CeeLo and Shawnee is perfection. They don't know how to just be married. They don't know how to communicate. So as they're all getting into the house, getting to know each other, you know what I'm saying? Styles P and Aja reveals that their daughter committed suicide. And I never knew that. First of all, I never knew that Styles P was married. As long as I've been listening to the Locks and listening to ScottyKHeath and all of that shit, I never knew I never knew that he was married. And I never knew that he had no kids. And I definitely never knew that his daughter committed suicide. So that tugged at my heartstrings right there. Because just 2 months ago, I was sitting up here depressed and talking about committing suicide yet again. So anytime I hear the subject suicide and hear about kids going through with it and hearing all these horror stories about it, that shit fucks with me. So that was something right there when I heard them talk about this. I'm like, God damn, that is some deep shit. Bianca, they was talking about Bianca and they was asking her what is their reasoning for being here. And, you know, Bianca starts pointing her finger in the man's face, talking about this and talking about disrespect and all of this stuff. And Jocelyn called out Bianca's disrespect. She was like, you know, doing all this, putting your hand up in this man's face, you can't be doing that. Like, that's disrespecting him. You can't be doing it. And for whatever reason, I don't normally like Jocelyn, but I kind of like her on this show. She's kind of refreshing. And I'm guessing it's because she's not with these love and hip hop girls. And I always felt like she had this big ass ego and thought she was way more than what she is. But it's something about her being on this show that I can fuck with. Because I normally can't fuck with her on a lot of shit. But I can fuck with her on this show. And I can see her and Bianca getting into it. Because Bianca was seriously annoyed when Jocelyn had something to say about her putting her hand in her man's face. But I don't normally agree with Jocelyn. But what Jocelyn was saying was the God the honest fucking truth. She was disrespecting him. And I can already see that. And we already know that Bianca's a handful when she be beefing with the bitches. So imagine how much of a handful she is with this nigga. And even if she thinks this man is cheating on her. You know what I mean? Imagine how she is in a relationship. I'm just saying. And I like Bianca, but let's just keep it 100. So, it's time for the award ceremony. With fine ass Dr. Ish and the queen herself, Lynn Toller, of, divorce court fame. It's time for this shit. And we got Bianca and Charles. They win the award for most turned up because they're always turned up. Bianca was like, well, we're both turned up because he makes me turn up. Like, if he don't be fucking around with these bitches, then I would have a reason to beat them up. Bianca, girl, you cannot blame him for your actions. Now, I get it. Him being a whore may be a result of your actions. Your actions may be a result of that. But don't nobody force you to act like that. You act like that on your own. You know what I mean? You act like that on your own. You don't do that just because somebody made you mad. That's not a fucking excuse. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just point the finger, bitch. Just own up to your own actions. You are a bitch that turns up a lot. You need to calm the fuck down. That's just the goddamn truth, and you need to own that shit. He does have some blame, but he's not out. Yeah, he out here fucking around with bitches, but you going off, putting your hands on him is not the right choice to do. It's just not. Like, that may be easier said than done, but that's not the right way to go, and you can't blame nobody for that but yourself. It's called accountability. Michelle and Stu, they win award, the FOMO award, which is fear of missing out. And that's really true. Michelle is in fear of missing out on her man. She's in fear of losing her man to a younger woman. She's in fear of losing her man to a more beautiful woman than her. She's afraid. And that's the realest shit you can admit. To say that this bitch look better than me. I'm scared I'm going to lose my man to that bitch. That is a real thing to say. You can't really slay her for that. It's the God, the honest truth. Real shit. You can't even knock her for that. I can't even knock her for that. Styles P and RG, I already knew when they had the Unlit Award, I knew it was for them. They're not, necessarily satisfied. Mainly the wife. She's not satisfied with this. She's not satisfied with the romantic shit. She's not satisfied with the lit. She feels her marriage is boring. She wants more from her marriage. After 24 years, you got to keep it spicy. You got to do a lot of shit to keep it up. You know what I mean? And I ain't married. Never been married. I was asked to be married before. A man wanted to marry me, but I wasn't ready to be married. But, I have a lot of friends that's married. I have two friends. I have a friend named Courtney that's married. I have a friend named Rod that's married. As a matter of fact, my friend Nabby is married too. I have a lot of married friends. So I know how this goes. So, yeah. At least I see how it goes. CeeLo and Shawnee, ill communication. That's the award they won. They need to get their communication back on track. They're not on the same page about anything. It's never a common ground. It's always, my opinion is better. No, my opinion is better. No, bitch, my opinion. And then it goes up and down. So they don't have no communication. They got to get on the right accord, on the same accord. Jocelyn and Ballistic, that was the best part. Ride or die award. Jocelyn feels like she ride or dies for him, but he's not ride or die for her, and that's because of the marriage thing. And I feel like Jocelyn is not grateful to this man. He took her and her child in that doesn't belong to him. A lot of men don't want to take in somebody else's child, but he did. And he treats her like a princess, which she acknowledges. She doesn't treat him like a king. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't give him the treatment that he deserves, and she doesn't feel like she needs to, all because she don't have a ring on her finger. At the end of the day, How are you going to expect this man to marry you when you're not giving him the same treatment that he's giving you? He's treating you like a motherfucking queen. You trying to treat him like a fucking peasant. And even in this conversation, he was shutting you down and he was putting you in your fucking place. So I was team ballistic. Stevie J wasn't strong enough to deal with a bitch like you, but this dude is strong enough to deal with a bitch like you, okay? He is strong enough to deal with a bitch like you. And I can respect him for that. Wholeheartedly. I can respect him for that. Point blank, period. Like, a lot of men can't deal with a bitch like you. But some men can, and he's the man that can do that. So, you got to get it together, baby, because everybody ain't going to deal with your fuck shit. Point blank, period. Jocelyn is annoyed by Bianca. You know what I mean? Like, her and her man was pushing themselves, pushing each other in the pool. She's just annoyed by her. She feel like she should be trying to get to know the rest of the people at the house. And then, while they was up in there talking about the screwing and the fucking, CeeLo and Shawnee was talking about doing a celibacy thing. I never heard of a married couple. Well, I never heard of a couple being celibate with each other after being together for so long. And these motherfuckers, they've been together for how many years? And they've been engaged for like 5 or 8 years or some shit like that. Like, okay, at the rate they going, they're going to be another Chrissy and Jim, another CeeLo and Forever Fiance. That's what the fuck they going to be if they don't get their shit together. Because if you've been engaged for that fucking long, that is a mess, okay? Being engaged for more than a year is way too much. What the fuck are you putting a ring on my finger for and we ain't getting married until the next decade? Like, why would I be engaged to a bitch for 10 years? That don't make no sense. But okay, they all go and look at their rooms and shit. And then while they're looking at their rooms, you know, Dr. Ish, you know, giving them some words of encouragement, and it all ends with Jocelyn and the Ballista getting married. And Jocelyn is just trying to force this man to marry her. And that's not the way to do it. When you're trying to pressure a man to marry you, that's going to push him further away. You got to give it time. You got to give him something to want to marry. And you're not giving him anything to marry. He's treating you like a princess, and you're not giving him anything back. So why would he want to marry you? You got to think about that, Jocelyn. You got to think about that. But I still like you on this show, but you really do have some thinking to do and some lessons to learn. With that being said, you guys, this was the first episode of Marriage Boot Camp, and I would say that I can't wait for the rest of the season. I gotta say that I really enjoyed myself. My Instagram is Scotty_by_nature. Make sure you like, rate, comment, and subscribe, and share this video. Do whatever you see fit. PayPal and Cash App. Cash App at the bottom. PayPal is on my homepage if you want to donate to the channel, just so we can make this channel much, much better for your ratchet ass needs. Whether it be for commentary on ratchet ass reality shows, whether it be for hot topics, or just all things real talk. With that being said, you guys, I'm out of here until my next video. I will talk to you guys later. Peace and blessings.